surfing on raw sewage. My Ducklet is going to be so pleased with me. I can tell that right now. Also, excuse me if I run away from these random battles because, well, they just don't give anything in terms of experience, especially with the new experience formula. With the old one, it might have been worth it, maybe just a little, but at the point we're at, no, it's not even worth it to attack them and kill them, even though it's just a matter of a few seconds. That's how little experience they're worth. So, over here we have the item I was trying to get to last time, which is TM41, Torment. Not the most useful TM, personally. I think it should have been one of the TMs that should have been asked for something else instead of something like Iron Tail or Giga Drain or something like that. But that's not what you're here to listen to me talk about. I'm pretty sure of that. So, about the news we got at Pokemon Direct this morning. First and foremost, we're apparently going to be given a Kanto starter at the beginning of the game in X and Y. I was pretty surprised because even when the news first broke through those leaks on PokeBeach, I thought it was going to be like a National Dex kind of thing, like it was in Hard Gold and Soul Silver, but nope. Apparently you get one of these right away, which kinda devaluates the Gen 6 starters unless they're really good. I mean, imagine if they did that stuff last time around. They gave you a Gen 1 starter and a Gen 5 starter. Nobody would have ever used the Gen 5 starters because the Gen 1 ones are just so vastly superior. But that's not all there is to it either. The Gen 1 starters are also going to be getting Mega Evolutions, which is all the more reason to use them. The most noticeable one, and I think everyone with a bit of common sense will agree with me, Mega Charizard getting Drought. I'm pretty sure when we first read that, we had the same reaction. What the fuck, Game Freak? Wasn't weather good enough already? Okay, that's not the way I'm supposed to go, but yeah, that was what I first thought too. But then I realized the fact that Mega Charizard's type does not change means that it's still going to get annihilated by Stealth Rock. And if there's one type of Pokemon that needs to be constantly switching in and out and in and out, well, it's a freaking weather inducer! And even Ninetales is having trouble doing that because it's already weak to Stealth Rock to start with. But then here comes Charizard, who's gonna take twice as much damage from Stealth Rock. So this is just... I don't know, I get the impression that this is exactly why Game Freak gave Drought to Charizard to start with. I've said it a million times before, I always get the impression that Game Freak know precisely what they're doing, and that might be the case here as well, because, well, I'm not gonna dance around the facts. Charizard is, right off the bat, a much better Pokemon than Ninetales, abilities notwithstanding. So, for it to get, did I come here before? I'm pretty sure I came in a room like this before, even though this area is only accessible with Surf, unless there are two rooms like that. I think there might be, actually, so I guess I was wrong to skip over that dialogue so quickly, but I'm sure most of you don't really mind one way or the other. But, yeah, as I was saying, I get the impression that Game Freak knew exactly what they were doing when they gave Drought to Charizard, because as a Pokemon, Charizard, vastly superior to Ninetales, no doubt about that, but it's just the fact that it's so horrible at switching in and out to re-establish its own weather. It's the fact that you're going to be needing a spinner just to help Charizard survive. Of course, using a spinner is advised on most teams, especially teams with Ninetales, but Charizard, with Charizard, it's absolutely mandatory. You have no say in the matter. You need a spinner if you're going to use Charizard for weather-inducing. Well, to be fair, Charizard has instant recovery, which Ninetales doesn't have. So it's going to be interesting to see how it develops. I think maybe Game Freak wanted to give Charizard a chance because Sun is a little bit on the weak side compared to Sand and Rain, so maybe getting a new Inducer would help boost it a bit maybe, but I would have much rather seen All Weather get nerfed, which doesn't look like much of a possibility at the moment. Anyway, back to the game for just a second. We just reached a back alley of Castelia City where you can find a repel right here, and over here I think there are a few trainers to fight. This is sort of reminiscent of that similar area on Route 34 in Johto that requires Surf to access as well, so I'm gonna beat these trainers up and be on my way because I think I've done everything I needed to in the sewer. But yeah, as for the other Kanto starters, Venusaur, very interesting choice for an ability, Thick Fat, which gets rid of both its fire and ice weaknesses. So suddenly that leaves only two weaknesses to Flying and Psychic. I guess this is sort of meant to give Venusaur a niche outside of Sun teams, because of course it loses Chlorophyll in the process. Not that it's a big deal, because Chlorophyll Venusaur is still going to be available for Sun teams, and if you choose to use Charizard as your Inducer, well, you're using up your one Mega Evolution that you're allowed per team per battle, so you can't use Mega Charizard and Mega Venusaur on the same team anyway, so it's really no big deal, though if you do want to use Mega Venusaur on a Sun team for some weird reason, then there's always Ninetales, which I guess is also a point to consider. If you decide to Mega Evolve Charizard, you can't Mega Evolve anything else, such as, for example, Blaziken. If you want to use Mega Blaziken, then you're going to be stuck using Ninetales for inducing Sun. And as for Blastoise, its ability is a new ability called Mega Launcher. We don't know the effects for now, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it increases the power on moves like Hydro Pump and Hydro Cannon, maybe Flash Cannon as well. I don't really know. But I think it's going to be one of these abilities that increases the power of very specific moves, like Reckless does, for example. But yeah, of course, we're going to have to wait and see just how it plays out to see how Mega Blastoise will be more useful than Mega Venusaur or Mega Charizard, because right now the bar is set relatively high, and I can't believe I'm saying this because it just feels so weird to say it, but Charizard is finally useful for once! And it's something that I never really expected to say. I thought maybe they'd just given up on ever giving it a good niche, but hey, it's actually useful. And the fun thing is that it sort of gets rid of the use that Charizard had prior to that, in that, well, imagine you're going on Random Matchup or Pokemon Showdown or whatever, you look at the team preview and you see Charizard. Before now, you could always safely assume that whoever you were playing against was not a day above 7 years of age. Not anymore! Charizard's good now, so you can't just say, oh, this guy's using Charizard and Venusaur on the same team on top of that, so this guy's obviously a kid who worships Ash. Nope! Not anymore! Competent players are going to start using Charizard. That's a scary thought. But anyway, back to the game. While I was talking about that, well, since I kicked all of their asses, suddenly I'm now in control of this little back alley gang thing. And for my trouble, I get the black glasses, which boost the power of Dark-type moves by 20%. So, I'm going to have to head back all the way back through the sewers since there's no easy shortcut back to the entrance. So, don't mind if I get lost or something. Something else that was mentioned in Nintendo Direct is the fact that there's going to be a new Pokemon storage. It was actually kind of games in previous generations. It's called Pokemon Bank. You'll be able to store up to 3,000 Pokemon on it. It's the successor to Pokemon Box from Generation 3 and Pokemon Ranch from Generation 4. Generation 5 didn't get anything, presumably, because it was meant to be a filler generation from the start. But yeah, it's basically the spiritual successor to that, and I guess maybe this is the way I'm supposed to go. There's a hidden item there, so I don't think it is. Nope, sorry. I think I got lost in the end. But while I try to find my way out of this place, yeah, there's going to be a fee for Pokemon Bank. It goes without saying, since Box and Ranch weren't free either. The fee is going to be 500 yen per year in Japan, so it's safe to assume that it's going to be $5 a year in North America, since 500 yen are worth about $5. And the interesting thing is that Pokemon Bank also contains the way that is going to allow you to transfer your Pokemon from Generation 5 to Generation 6, because they've said before that they tried sending data from DS games to 3DS games, and they were having trouble with it. So I guess they failed, and this is sort of their substitute method. So, we're back out of the sewers, so I'm gonna head to Mistralton and fight one or two trainers on Route 7 with what little time I have left. But yeah, the Pokemon transferring thing is going to be coming with Pokemon Bank, which means exactly what it sounds like. You are going to have to pay for backwards compatibility for this time around. Of course, it's only $5 a year, which is no big deal considering you can barely even buy a meal for $5 these days. That, and well, I make $5 in 20 minutes of work, so it's hardly like you're going to be strapped for cash with that subscription. But still, I wouldn't say it's annoying to have to pay for something that we used to get for free, but at the same time, it doesn't really work the same way because they had to work around technical limitations. That and the transferring tool is allegedly going to be a lot more flexible than it used to be in generations past, so at least we gain something from all of this. Of course, that subscription for Pokemon Bank and the Pokemon Transfer thing are completely optional, and there's going to be a trial period throughout January, so you might be interested in abusing that if you just want to transfer your Pokemon once and then be done with it entirely. So at least there's that. I don't think I have the time for another trainer, so I'm going to cut this right here. I'll see you next time when I explore Route 7 properly.